So, hello and welcome back to another week of exploring Azeroth. Hopefully, I will entertain you and take you to some places that maybe you didn't know about. Because I sure as heck actually found three places that I don't know that I had ever been to today. So, I thought that would be a lot of fun to take you along. I probably am going to get some lore wrong. I probably do quite often. But I have a lot of fun. I enjoy exploring in the world of Warcraft. I really like Azeroth. It is a fun and at times exciting game. And a couple years ago, I decided that I just wanted to find all of the stuff that maybe was kind of off the beaten path. And I did have a penchant for trying to find houses. Most of this was kicked up by joining a role-playing server. Everybody wants to have their own house, and World of Warcraft still has not actually given us our own houses. So it's a little bit hard to have one of those. So you go out and you find your own in the basic stuff that the game has blessed us with. Today, we are going to be exploring the Arathi Highlands, and I'm probably going to use both of my sisters. I think we're going to see both Onyx and Beryl today, because why not? Because I like them both, and because one of them can explore Arathi Highlands in the past. I think we'll let Beryl explore the past, and I think we will let Onyx explore the present day. Well, as present day as we get in WoW, which is, I still think, a couple years old, although from what I've been reading, canonically, the Alliance is now totally in control of Arathi, but in the time period that we're going to be running around in, it is still a contested battlefront. So, without too much further ado, let's just jump into the game and see what we can discover. So I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but technically we are still in the hinterlands, which is where we left off last week. So let's jump in, and I'm going to actually take you to the first thing that I never knew was down here in Arathi. And then we'll do a little bit of the history of the Arathi Highlands and a few things like that. But right up here, below Jinta Allure, if you just fly over and actually go to where I was supposed to be going instead of going backwards like I did, good job me, I found a cave up in the hills of the Arathi Highlands that I never knew was here. It is just above, what is that down there below me? You know what? I can't tell until I'm actually in the zone. Alright, so if you play the game, you go just above Hammerfall, which is the orc, used to be an orc internment camp. It was named after Orgrim Doomhammer, I do believe, I could be wrong, and he was a war chief who died, and they named Hammerfall after him. But there is a cave up here. I have no idea why there's a cave up here. But as I was just flying around seeing if there was anything maybe that I had missed in Arathi, I found something I had missed. Again, no clue why we have a cave up here. I haven't seen any rares spawn in this cave or anything else, but cool little thing that I did not know about. So that's my first thing that I found today that I never knew was there. Now, I do have a good friend who has been playing World of Warcraft so much longer than me. Like I said in my very first video, I actually tried playing World of Warcraft in its very first week of launching over at a friend's house, and it just was not for me at the time. I hated it. I died constantly. I was attempting to play I think, Night Elf, and I probably picked Thief because that was my favorite class in Dungeons and Dragons. So I was like, yes, I will be a night elf. I will be a thief. This will be great. I kept dying. I decided that the game probably wasn't for me, but she kept talking about it all the time, kept telling me how much she loved it, kept telling me how much fun it was, and eventually, late in Burning Crusade, I came back. And pretty much haven't looked back since. I have taken breaks periodically. I think everybody takes breaks. But I've pretty much been playing since the end of Burning Crusade, the beginning of Wrath of the Lich King, so it's become a pretty big thing. Exploration has become a much bigger thing, I would say, in the last 4 or 5 years. I kind of soured on the whole raid dungeon, raid dungeon, raid dungeon. I just soured on it. And I was looking for something interesting to do, stumbled across role-playing. It's a lot of fun. Not that I've even been doing much of that lately, and I feel really, really guilty about it. But anyway, enough about me. Let's check out the Arathi Highlands and maybe learn a little bit of its history. Alright, so we are reading from the Wowipedia website because that seems to have a lot of really good background information, so that's where I pull a lot of this from. And the Arathi Highlands was also known as Arathor, or simply Arathi, or simply the Highlands. It's a region located in southeastern Lordaeron, east of Hillsbrad foothills, and south of the hinterlands. It served as home to the humans of Arathor, which gave its region its name, and later was home to the Kingdom of Stormguard, which we will check out Stormguard Keep here in a little bit. They had a lot of issues, they had a lot of problems, they had a lot of wars, but they did manage to keep the Forsaken Scourge out of their kingdom for a very long time. The Arathi Highlands was once the cradle of human civilization, and it marks the place where the Empire of Arathor was founded and where the first real contact between elves and humans were made way back during the Troll Wars. It managed to survive a lot of different places, a lot of different wars. It even managed to prevent the Plague of Undeath from ravaging it, but soon afterwards, the Syndicate, the Boulder Fist ogres, and the Winterbark trolls all kind of added a lot of pressure. Unlike the neighboring regions during the Cataclysm era, not too much got messed up in the Arathi Highlands, but it did suffer. I mean, every place did. So that is pretty much where we are going to kind of jump in and just maybe check out each little region. The first spot that we are in, which Onyx will probably explore for us a little bit better since I don't want to be shot down by the guards, is Hammerfall. And that is the main Horde bastion here in Arathi. And hopefully I can actually do this. So according to Wowipedia, Hammerfall was the largest of the Alliance orc internment camps, and it was later attacked and destroyed by Orgrim Doomhammer and Thrall, who went on to become the leader of the Horde way back in the day. So it's your basic little Horde outpost, and later on we will probably explore it a little bit with Onyx because she can get in there and check out the buildings. I don't love the building style of most of the Horde races. It's just not my thing. But I do love a lot of the different Horde quest lines, including one which sends you up here into the Dry Whisker Kobold caves. And you have a lot of fun in here, killing off these little guys. And I don't remember everything about that quest line, but I think it has something to do with the various circles of binding, which you find all over, and which is the next thing we are going to go check out. Again, I will probably get a lot of this wrong, and I do beg everybody's pardon, but I remember before the cataclysm hit, these quests were a lot harder. And this whole area was a lot harder. But here we are in the circle of East Binding. I remember you're doing a bunch of stuff for a giant female. She wasn't an ogre, but I think she was like an elemental of some sort. Again, forgive me if I'm wrong, because I'm probably wrong. But you can go over here and start the quest. It's the Shards of Myzriel, which I probably pronounced wrong. Back in the pre-cataclysm days, there was also a Horde courier and an Alliance courier that would patrol around here. They were elites and they would mess you up. Now here is the Alliance farm, the Darbreeze farmstead. If you are a Horde player, you end up having to come here and do a bunch of different quests to kill off a bunch of Alliance people. If you're an Alliance player, everybody's friendly. Not really much else I can say about that. I don't count that as a real house. Most of these around here I don't count as real houses because they're pretty darn ruined, which is sad. Now, if you are wanting to travel to the hinterlands, the tunnel will take you through right here. And it's a really quick and easy shortcut. Before that, I have no idea how players used to get to and from, because I'm pretty sure that that was also added in the Cataclysm. So here is the second farm, and as you can see, it's got a lot more hostiles for me. And this farm is controlled by the Syndicate, which are... they're kind of like thieves, from what I understand, but I could be wrong on that too. Just a little ways from the Syndicate farm there is the Circle of West Binding. And as you can see, there's all sorts of different elementals that you end up fighting as you are going through the Syndicate. Now this here is Thoradin's Wall. You can go through Thoradin's Wall and you are back in Hillspread Foothills. And there is also a small little camp right here. It is called Galen's Fall. And I'm pretty sure that Galen was the king of Stormguard who ended up getting resurrected and basically used by the Forsaken because he wanted his kingdom back and they just wanted a foothold in this area. Now, coming up in front of us is the ruins of Stormguard Keep. Back in Classic, from what I understand, this was basically considered an open-air dungeon. It was pretty darn big and pretty darn sprawling, and you had a bunch of different quests that would take you in through here. And there were a bunch of different elites and rares that you could kill. Again, a lot of really good, fun questing still to be had in that area. Now, if you go along this way, you can go right through this cool little tunnel. There's two ways to get into Fat Ear's Cove. That is the first, which sort of just takes you right here. You can see the wetlands over there and a bunch of different shipwrecks. Let me get back on my kitty cat. And there's just a fun little quest chain down here. There's also a boat that you can explore. It's not the best boat in the game. That one we won't be visiting. Ooh, it'll be a while. Because the best boat in the game is actually in the Battle for Azeroth map zones, which we won't be getting to until we explore everything else. So, But this is a halfway decent little boat. You can run around in it, explore a fairly empty boat. Like I said, the absolute best boat in the game, at least if you're an Alliance player, is in the Battle for Azeroth expansion, and it is probably one of my very favorite places to take people in this game because it's just so cool. We'll get to it, don't worry. But this is your basic standard ship from the classic era. You can run around in it. There's usually a bunch of quests in it, but nothing in the way of furniture or anything exciting. Just a boat. So we will go over there, check it out. There's 2 different shipwrecks that are out in the water. You can swim around and swim to them. There's a few different quests associated with them. There's also a really cool cave back here. And from what I was reading, this Captain Steelgut here is the only survivor of a big shipwreck that washed him up on shore and managed to wreck the other 2 boats that are out there that you do your questing in. Like I said, there's also another cave back here. Now, this cave will have enemies in it if you're doing the quest chain. They're not too hard, but then again, they're not too easy. Like most other questing, if you're doing it at level, you're going to be in for a bit of a fight, depending on your class. Alright, couple more things. We'll go by the Troll Village, we'll go by the Boulder Fist Ogres, we will check out the Arathi Basin and Refugee Point. Another thing to note is this is also the entrance to a battleground. If you are into PvP, this is where you would go and queue up for your battleground. I think you can also queue up from any home city, but don't quote me on that because I absolutely despise PvP. It's my least favorite thing to do in World of Warcraft. This is Boulder Gore. It is one of the ogre homes. If you can see this big dude here. That is a Boulder Fist Ogre. And again, various quest chains will have you coming in and going into the Boulder home of the Boulder Fist Ogres. Did I really just call that the Boulder home? I did. Good job, me. I can speechly very good, thank you. Alright, down in this little valley, tucked in, we have Refugee Point. It is the Alliance stronghold in this area. And this over here is the queue up point for the Arathi Basin battleground. Can't tell you a thing about it because I've never done it. It's just not my thing. Never has been. Alright, we're going to run by and check out this troll village. Mostly so you can compare and contrast it to what it looks like when Onyx takes us through it here in a little bit. With Onyx, we'll probably just do a really quick run through just to show you the things that have changed and the graveyard that is now in the Arathi Highlands. This is the Boulder Fist Hall. It is the second ogre place. And I think, okay, the Winterbark Village of Trolls is right over here, just past the Boulder Fist Hall. Again, there's a lot, but also not a lot. One thing I do love, though, is when you come in here around the trolls, a lot of times, and I might just have the music up too loud, you can hear the troll drums, and they've got a good sense of rhythm. Like, a lot of times when I'm questing in this area, I'm like boogieing to the drums. Okay. I have 3 more things to show you. that two of which I did not know about until today. I was today years old when I found these things. Although for my friend who has been playing since Classic and I don't think has ever really taken much beyond small breaks, he knew about them. He said that there used to be quests involved with them and they used to actually have elites. But I was flying around along here and I happened to notice this door in the Thandol Span, the bridge that takes you to, is it Lochmadon that's over there? Or is it... Good question. It is the wetlands. Okay. So the Thandol Span takes you over to the wetlands, and I had never stopped and actually examined this bridge. So I went in, and you've got a bunch of Twilight dwarves. And yeah, it's just something I had absolutely never seen. And then I found out that, boy, I feel dumb, because there's even an upstairs where you can actually go through and see that this goes through to the main spot of the bridge. How I missed this for all of my years of playing World of Warcraft, I don't have a clue. But miss it I did. The second thing that I was today years old when I found out is down in the water. So let's go down here. Hopefully I can find it before I run out of breath. Now I can find it. And it's probably the creepiest World of Warcraft skeleton I have ever seen. Mostly because, as you will see, once we get up close to it, he still has hair and all of his armor. And so, yeah, it's a little disturbing. He was obviously pinned by this boulder under the Thandol Span. And according to my friend, he used to have a note that was trapped under here with him that started a quest back in the day. I don't see any quest symbols or any notes that he still has, so I'm going to assume that that quest has been removed. But I thought it was really, really cool. The last thing I'm going to show you, possibly you know about, a lot of people do, but then again, a surprising number of people don't. And that is if you are in the Arathi Highlands and you just want someplace out of the way that actually qualifies as a real house. In fact, it qualifies as a full-on personal farm, and it also has the ending of a quest, which is very aptly named. It's called the Waste of Time quest. But the ending of this quest might be maybe the reason a lot of people actually know about this farm, but other than that, there is nothing attached to it. One other really quick thing. This is just a really cool, big, empty area up here. I find these all the time in World of Warcraft, and I'm not sure why they're here, but they're kind of awesome. Like, just a big, empty field full of nothing. But on the other side of this big, empty field full of nothing is my favorite, well, one of my very favorite farms in World of Warcraft. You can fly down here. You can also swim to get here. And you can just run around. You've got two nice big fields. You've got the Alliance fleet just off to the, what direction would that be? That would be the east. So, yeah. Off to the east, you've got the Alliance fleet, which you can reach, but you're going to die to do it. And it's really not all that worthwhile when you do reach it, because you can't even go down below in the ships, and there's nothing on them. I know, I died to do it. So, but yeah, you've got your own little dock here at this farm. You've got your own rats running around, a second field. And even in this stable, you have goats. Like, this is a very dwarven farm. You've got a couple of goats here. I think they even have, yeah, they even have some nice rations. You can kill them if you want to, but why would you want to kill your goats? And you even have your own personal little house. Oh, and an outhouse, because, you know, you have to have an outhouse. And a still, because, you know, this is a dwarven house, and they like their beer. But you go down here, and there are people here. We aren't going to worry about them, but this is Grimmy. Grimmy is the end of the Waste of Time quest, and very, very cool. But yeah, obviously I am not the only one that knows about these houses. Other people, other players will end up in them periodically. But it is probably one of my favorite houses in the entire game. And that is where we are going to leave Beryl, looking off into what I think will be our next video, which is the Twilight Highlands, which is a really awesome zone. It actually came with the Cataclysm expansion, but we're going to do it anyway because it is a part of the Eastern Kingdoms. But if you give me just a minute, I am going to pull out Miss Onyx, and we're going to just go see how much things changed, because Beryl is in the past. Let's head to present day. Alright, so here we are with Miss Onyx in the present day, and a lot has changed and a lot has stayed the same. One change that I did notice, and a big change, is of course the fact that since it is a contested area in the Battle for Azeroth, control of the area will switch between Horde and Alliance periodically. I think it might be like every 3 hours. So we are just going to kind of run through here. And right now the Horde is in control, which means there are a few cool places that we can go. One thing that I found with both Beryl and Onyx when I was running around in the Horde control, which it was Horde control even back then, was Federer's Cove down here actually has been upgraded recently and has a house and a better boat. So we'll go check those out really quick. As you can see, they've upgraded a little bit. Actually, they've upgraded quite a bit. I really, really like this new little structure that they've built. And I can't get in there. Alright, well, let's just run away, run away, run away. And then we're gonna pretend to be dead. No, really, you don't need to beat on me anymore. I'm dead. I do love being a Horde player at the wrong time. There we go. Alright, so actually I probably should have brought you over here with Beryl, because Onyx can't exactly do much right now. At least not in the Alliance controlled areas. That's my bad. But I can take you to show you the one thing that I really wanted to show. I think this will be empty, but maybe it won't. It's entirely possible that I'm just going to kill poor Onyx, but we'll see. I know when I came in here earlier with Beryl, there was absolutely no one here. Yeah. So, it is kind of nice, and honestly, again, it's better. The Alliance construction, it might just be my bias showing, but I really like Alliance construction, and this is a really nice inn that seems to be completely empty. So you can go up here, you've got several nice bedrooms, and when I take you over to the Horde side, pretty much all there are hammocks, so that's nowhere near as fun. So if you're looking for a place to host a nice guild meeting, there's another option. You can also run downstairs and check out the kitchen, which is on the first basement, and you can even go down one more level to the sub basement and just have that. I just thought it was pretty cool. Like I said, I do seem to be a bit prejudiced towards Alliance construction. Can't really help that. I guess it's just I'm human and I like human houses. Now, the one thing that I did want to show really quick before we go, because I've been doing this for a while now, the video, not World of Warcraft, is there is a little graveyard here, which there's a novel, I think it's Before the Storm, where several of the Forsaken from the Horde actually tried to make peace, and it seemed like, I guess, they were going to join the Alliance. And Sylvanas Windrunner, who was at that time the war chief of the Horde, had them all slaughtered, and this is where the Alliance soldiers buried them. So there was Valencia Elsie Benton, the beloved wife of Will Benton, reunited at last. And then we have Thomas Gray, a true friend. We have James Fellstone, a leader and a kind heart. John Fellstone, Jack, devoted son and brother. Jacob Fellstone, you will not be forgotten. We have Parqual Fintalis, Lordaeron historian, father to Philia Fintalis, always in my heart. And I think that is it for the gravestones, but from what I read, that was the Forsaken Council, and they were all slaughtered, and it was, again, so much of World of Warcraft is tragedy. Now, if you don't mind your house being on fire, you can go right down here to Newstead, and there are 2 very nice houses. I mean, it's just the roof that's on fire. Everything else is fine. And you even have dinner on the table, and I think both of them. And a nice little barn, which is always a good thing to have. I can't help that explorer in me always wants to find all of the housing in World of Warcraft. Here's the second little house. Pretty much like the first, except you do have a or an orc grunt joining you for dinner. But hey, you've got, what have we got here? We've got, looks like turkey leg, apple, orange, and some cheese. Not a bad dinner, honestly. And if you can fly and you want to go up and check out the loft of the barn, that is also doable. You just have to be able to fly. And yeah, nice little barn loft. Looks like we stored some treasures up here. In fact, it looks like somebody had a picnic set up. Or maybe just a dream area. I love all the little extras that World of Warcraft brings to the table with decorations and ambiance and all of that. It's just, honestly, it's really nice. Now, in the present day, the Horde has set themselves up a nice big fortress to match up to Stormguard. It is called Aragarok. Probably butchered that as well. And the only thing that I found that was really, really interesting in here, presuming I can find it again, is the jail, which I have not found a counterpart in the Alliance side, but there probably is one. There usually is. Both sides are usually pretty darn brutal towards each other. Alright, let me look around a little bit and see if I can find it. Huzzah, I found it. It is in this very first building on the other side of the gate, where there's a bunch of bunks, and then you can go out and down, and you just keep on going down. And yeah, It is the, I'm guessing, holding area for Alliance prisoners. Don't actually have any prisoners in here at the moment, but you can see all of the various things that any good prison needs. You know, you got a nice place to just sit down and contemplate your choices, and a little nice steaming pile of poo in the corner, because they didn't seem to leave a bucket in this cell. But yeah, again, if you are into RP or anything like that, it's a good place to just keep your prisoners. I just think it's kind of neat. Other than that, not too much has changed. No matter when you come down or come to Arathi, the farm will still be there. I did discover that the little gnome Grimmy is not here if you show up in present day. But that's really the biggest difference, other than the fact that there's a lot of new buildings and things that have been placed in Arathi. So that's about it for today. I'm not actually doing this now. If you're here to get rares, which is what a lot of people, at least back when this Battlefront opened, there's a lot of different rares. You can find them on your little mini map. They're marked with stars. And it's a good place to get battle pets and toys and mounts. You just have to kind of devote the day to running around and killing them. But yeah, I think next week we will be exploring the Twilight Highlands. I will probably use both sisters again in conjunction, since it's another area that might be a little bit more interesting to poke into some of the buildings on both sides. Oh, that was the other thing, and that is the reason I was flying over here. And that is, you can see that in present day, the Witherbark trolls have rebuilt their village to be a lot nicer than it was. And they are throwing axes at me. How rude. They're hitting me with axes too. That's even ruder. But yeah, that is about it for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you actually did the quest that was attached to that dwarf that I found under the Thandol span, because I'm kind of interested to find out what exactly that was all about. Also, I have not yet, although I'm probably going to look it up and see where to start the Waste of Time quest chain, and see all of the things that Grimmy would like you to procure for him before he gives you a basically just ornamental and honestly kind of ugly belt, which is the ultimate thing that you get from that quest chain. But other than that, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this. And I will see you next week when we go into the Twilight Highlands and see what that's all about.